You are doing well. Welcome to Cooped Up Live, should I say. It's my daily-ish broadcast where I just talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about while we are waiting on folks to join. And I just realized I did not set up my light. Man, what a Monday. CookedUp.com is my website. You can check that out at any time. I'm Cooped Up is my handle in all the social places. Would love a follow, particularly if on the Instagrams and wherever you watch or listen to this. It is on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, as well as rebroadcast on all of the major podcasting platforms. Be sure to click the bell, subscribe button, whatever it is called, so that you get notified anytime I post new content. Hey, Mama, how you doing? It has been a Monday. I slept so weirdly last night. I actually slept like a dead person, like super, super deep sleep, but so much so that I woke up almost tired. Does that make any sense? I had to be up early. Every other Monday, I have an 8:30 conference call, and I have to be at my office for it and all that stuff. And so in the summertime, it's a little harder because I'm not normally getting up. Hey, Eric, it's been hours. I know. Eric and I had lunch today, and then I came home and took a nap, which is also part of why I'm a little bit kind of out of sorts at the moment. So, how was everyone's weekend? Hope everyone had a good time. I would say the highlight of my weekend was going to see the Barbie movie and all of the fun things that went around it. So, as did many Americans, I went and saw the Barbie movie this weekend. I just saw before coming live that it was the number one movie of the weekend, and it is the number one movie of all time, directed by a woman, Greta Gerwig in this case. Big thing. So I bought tickets like 2 weeks ago. We were still out in North Carolina when I bought them, and everywhere, all of my normals, Cinepolis, Alamo Draft House, all of the ones that have the big chairs and the waiters and all that stuff, they were all sold out already at that point. And so I had to go to Angelica, which is it was originally like an art house theater. I don't think it is anymore. I think it just shows whatever movies it wants to now. At Mockingbird Station, which is one of the original like multi-purpose, mixed-use, like transit-oriented developments here in Dallas. So it's kind of old. It's right next to SMU though. So we went there. So dressed up, I was wearing my white shirt that says Ken on it. I had pink jeans on. I own a pair of Levi Strauss jeans in powder pink. They are left over years and years ago. I did a volunteer thing called Real Men Wear Pink, where I committed to wearing pink every day for the month of October in support of breast cancer awareness, and had to post photos of myself and all that kind of stuff. I know, hard gig, right? Both wearing the pink and the posting myself every day. And so that was a leftover from that. I have a lot of pink in my wardrobe anyway. I love that color. And then I wore like a pink bandana, and yeah. And so we went to the movies. So first we went to the kids and I went to Taco Deli beforehand to grab some lunch, and walked up. As I was walking in, this lady on the patio was like, Ken, and I just waved. I just played along with it, and it is so funny because the kids they are not really embarrassed by me at all, and I'll get to that in a moment. But for the most part, I think that they just know that I'm not trying to embarrass them. I am just being my embarrassing self. And I don't get embarrassed easily at all. It is almost impossible to embarrass me. And so we had lunch there. A couple of people came up and asked if we were going to the movie. And I'm like, what movie? And then we went to the Angelica and saw the movie. The review, I'll get to that in a moment. Do not ever go to the Angelica movie theater if you can help it. It was so first of all, they only had two. It was sold out. They only had two concession lines going. So the line was like through the theater. It was crazy. Get in there. It is easily 85 to 90 degrees in the theater. The AC comes on for about half the movie, and then it cuts out again. And it is like sweltering. Poor Carrie had like napkins stuck to her face afterwards from wiping her face with paper towels. Again, not my first choice, but here's the options. It was either decent seats at the Angelica or first row. at the Cinepolis, and I cannot sit in the first row at a movie theater. Like I don't. I am a like back third center of the theater person. I can't do all that close with the everything going like that. So a lot of people left the movie, and I don't think they left because they didn't like the movie. I think they left because it was so fucking hot in the movie theater. Shame on the Angelica movie theater owners or managers or whatever for letting it get that way, but here we are. The movie was great, though. The movie deserves all the accolades it gets. So here's the thing about the movie. Most people want to write it off as kind of like shallow and silly and all of that kind of stuff. And it is silly, but it is way deeper than I expected it to be. I even cried twice during it, and that's not that hard to do. I am an easy crier, but there were two scenes specifically that made me cry. And the last part of it, Carrie was like, "Are you going to be okay?" Like I was like, but I was still crying enough that she noticed. It's a fun movie. So many jokes. Like I actually want to see it again. I'll wait till it comes to streaming or whatever. But I want to see it again because I know that I have missed so many little one-liners. It's one of those movies. I'm trying to think of another movie that's similar, where it's just one after another little one-liners, double entendres, references that maybe you didn't get in the moment, but if you think about it, you get later. Just really, really creative, well-written. So many stars in it. So many stars in it, actually, that I was afraid once I saw like all the people in it, I was like, oh shit, this is not going to be any good. Because I have a theory that the more stars there are in a movie, the more fun it was to make than to watch. It just always seems to be that case. But this was an exception. The set design was great. Wardrobe design was great. Like I said, the script was remarkably good. Kristen, not Kristen Wiig. What's the other one? Kate McKinnon. So she was Weird Barbie. And that's like, we're sorry that we call you Weird Barbie behind your back and to your face. Like this, they say that many times throughout it. Because everyone in it is Barbie or Ken, with the exception of there's some discontinued Barbies and stuff like Midge. And Midge is the pregnant one, by the way, that they don't make anymore. And there was Alan, which I didn't realize there was an Alan, but there was that, right? And so he was in it too, played by, I can't remember the guy. He's the son from Arrested Development, George Michael from Arrested Development. He was in it. Really good. Actually, he's a super sympathetic character. All the Kens were hot, of course. And then, and so it's funny, just the play on words that they had. There's a lot of adult jokes in it that it's still safe for kids to go see it because the adult jokes are hidden, just like Pixar does also. They were hidden in like a double entendre or a play on words or whatever. There was one point where all the Kens were talking about beaching each other off. I'm going to beat you off. I'm going to beat you off. Because they were challenging each other at the beach. I say there's no spoilers, and then I always end up spoiling something. But anyway, and then how was Ryan Gosling? Sandy's asked. He was very good. He was fantastic in it, in fact. I thought also that Margot Robbie was wonderful in it. And you would think, here's the thing, you would think that Margot Robbie would be just like made for this role, like that she's perfect looking, all of this kind of stuff, and that she wouldn't need to create any depth. There was a lot of depth in it too, like the character, the conflict, like it was really well acted. So I think that the movie is an outstanding movie. Now, I'm not saying Academy Award. I'm not saying anything like that. It probably is not even going to change any minds because there is a kind of underlying social message in it too. I've seen a lot of conservative people saying it's a woke movie and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it went that far. It does talk about the patriarchy and how men rule things and how women respond to it and how men respond to women and all that kind of stuff. It does talk about that. And at one point, actually, America Ferrera's character, Gloria, gives like this speech kind of thing. And the audience actually cheered. Like during it, the audience gave her a round of applause. So I thought, and I'm sure that was intended because there was you didn't miss anything afterwards because of that. Because they had kind of a hole to beat or whatever. Um, it wasn't so far that it was like being like that preachy. It wasn't like Don't Look Up or any of those movies where it was like blatantly. It wasn't even anti-male. I've seen some people say it's anti-male. No, it is. It is showing. It's sort of like people who are anti-critical race theory, that sort of thing, where they think that if you talk about some negative things, that suddenly you are anti all of them, right? Like talking about certain men's behavior does not mean you hate all men, right? Or that all men are bad. Same with if you talk about how white people have acted, it doesn't mean all are bad. But anyway, and then I had to explain some stuff afterwards. Like the kids, we get out and Claire's like, "What's a gynecologist?" Because she's too young to have to use one yet. So I had to explain to her what one of those was. I had to explain what a white savior is because at one point they're like, "Thanks, white savior Barbie." By the way, Margot Robbie plays stereotypical Barbie, and then there's President Barbie and Supreme Court Justice Barbie, Nobel Prize Barbie, astronaut Barbie, all of these different kinds. And yes, I am having Sonic, a soda. I needed like the upper of some caffeine. But great movie. And it was 2 hours long, an hour and 54 minutes. It never seemed long to me. The only thing that made it potentially seem long is that I wanted to get the fuck out of that theater because it was 90 degrees in there. But other than that, it was a very enjoyable, fun movie to watch. Also, we got there a little early, and all of the packs of friends who showed up in pink was wonderful to watch. And most movie theaters, including the Angelica, have like little setups, like you can stand in the Barbie box and take pictures. We were going to, but we were so hot afterward. The line was long for it beforehand, and we were so sweaty and hot afterwards. We skipped it. But yeah, so go see it. And it is one of those movies. It is true what they have said about it. If you love Barbie, you will love this movie. If you hate Barbie, you will like this movie. And I think that is the case because it really kind of dispels a lot of stuff about the intention of who Barbie is, what the doll is supposed to stand for. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. So Mattel is featured in it a lot. And you would think that it would be like they would come out like smelling like roses and all that. I was shocked. At how critical the movie was of Mattel in certain play in a comical way, but like how they made fun of them and all that stuff. Like I didn't think that companies allowed themselves to be made fun of like that in this day and age. But it was good. And then Chevrolet obviously was not obviously Chevrolet was the car because all movies now have like one car brand that's featured in it, and it was featured heavily. Again, it's a consumerist product, so it kind of went with it. What else was there was something else I was going to mention about all of that. Margot Robbie, Mattel. It'll come back to me in a minute. Something that I just thought of. I bought the tickets on Fandango. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that app, but it's where I always buy movie tickets. And I didn't realize until this weekend that you can't separate tickets. So Carrie was running late. We wanted to go up and go to the snack bar, but we couldn't. And so we had to wait out in the front for her to be there because you can't just send somebody their ticket. It's one QR code that gets everybody through. So I thought, because like Ticketmaster, I bought tickets for friends and just transfer tickets to them or whatever. So I don't know who this person is. We'll see if that is that. Angela is saying the evangelicals are losing their absolute shit around here. They cannot believe a PG-13 movie wasn't appropriate for 8-year-olds. Yes, that's the other thing. So there weren't a lot of kids when we saw it, but I agree with that completely. People are like, I've seen people bring in their young child, and then they're like mad that it was a little racy. And I'm like, it is fucking PG-13. Yes, it is PG-13. Anyway, I've got the thing I was going to talk about is on the edge of my brain, but now I can't think of what it is. I remember I was going to tell you. So one of the Barbies, the weird Barbie, played by Kate McKinnon, genius character, casting, all that kind of stuff. She is the Barbie that was played with too hard. And they're like, everybody has one of those. And I remember, big surprise here, I played with Barbies a lot as a kid. They were technically my sisters, but my mom didn't care and my dad didn't really care all that much either. And although my dad's wife cared a lot, so they were Monica's Barbies. But mostly at my mom's house we had them. And we had one that we cut all of her hair off and we called her Burbie. And that's Kate McKinnon was the one with the cut hair. She had her makeup was redone, all that. It was hilarious. Could only do things in the splits. Really, really funny. And then we had one also. We had one Cowgirl Barbie. I don't know if y'all remember Cowgirl Barbie. Cowgirl Barbie, her arms were bent like this, which a lot of Barbies were at the time. I don't think they do that anymore, but and actually, I think now they're like articulated, but their arms were like this, and she had blue eyeshadow on, and if you pushed a button on her back, she winked at you, but ours, she would always get caught in the wink, so she looked kind of like stroke victim Barbie a little bit. Yes, and so they make fun of a lot of the malfunctioning stuff of the Barbies. Referenced the one that her boobs grow. I didn't realize, I forgot that there was one of those. There was a Barbie that had a camera in her chest and a screen on her back. They talk about that one. All that kind of stuff. I thought it was funny. But all throughout, they're like, "Hi Barbie, hi Barbie, hi Barbie, hi Barbie, hi Ken, hi Ken." Oh, Ken, Asian Ken is hot. I can't remember the actor's name. Hot, hot, hot. And he's kind of the arch nemesis of the stereotypical Ken, Beach Ken. Anyway, afterwards, so we're driving home. Stroke victim Barbie. Monica said, "Do you remember Burbie?" That's what I was just talking about, Monica, that we cut her hair off and we called her Burbie. Yes. So Monica's backing me up here. That is a true story. So afterwards, we went to Target because we're leaving the theater, coming up. Todd did not go. He had no interest. We're driving home, and I get a text from Todd, "Can you pick up some kitty litter on the way home?" Well, we don't have an indoor cat. And Claire's like, "What? What the fuck?" Kind of, what are we doing? And so I have her, I'm driving, so I have her text, and she's like, "Kitty litter, why?" And I immediately said, "Oh, he spilled oil in the garage. I think he was changing the oil on the lawnmower." I was like, "He spilled oil in the garage." 2 seconds later, we get a text, "I spilled oil in the garage." And I guess you use kitty litter to clean up oil. I know you use it like clean up throw up and stuff like that. So I assumed oil as well. And so we go into Target. And again, I am big hair, pink bandana, Ken shirt, pink pants, Gucci loafers, all that kind of stuff. Walking in to the Target. And again, the kids at this point are not embarrassed. We are walking through the parking lot. And one of the things that I do a lot as a just normal human, not when I'm a human Ken doll, is that I will, if I see someone unloading their cart, I'll say, "Do you want me, can I take that back for you?" Right? I'll get it from them and put it back either in the corral or just take it all the way into the store, right? So they don't have to walk it back. And especially like at the Target by our house, they only have the corrals on like the first half of the parking lot. And if you park at the back half, you have to like walk halfway through the parking lot to get it back. And so also I think that the lowest form of human is someone who does not return their carts. I think that is the divider between garbage humans and good quality humans, is people who return their carts. It's also why I wish everyone would adopt Aldi's rule of requiring a quarter deposit that you get back, right? And but so I asked this woman who's loading up her like big Mercedes-Benz SUV or whatever. She's like a kind of a hipster looking woman. She's black. She didn't have a kid. Obviously has money if she's driving this big old car, all that kind of stuff. And so I ask her, and then she turns to me and mockingly, I don't think she appreciated the Barbie thing at all. She goes, "Oh my God, thank you, Ken. I don't know what I would do without you." Like that. Like not a, "Oh my God, Ken," but like, "I don't know what I would do without you." Like I was being a savior kind of thing. And in a split second, I was like, "You're welcome, Barbie." It just walked off, and she was just like dumbfounded. And Claire goes, "I can't believe you said that, Daddy." Like, we shouldn't say anything back. "You're welcome, Barbie." So I called that woman Barbie, who did not like Barbies. So we get in the store, and as we're walking through, like security guards, like, "Ken," and this is where the kids start to get embarrassed, because every aisle we are on, because of course we can't find the kitty litter, because I've never bought kitty litter a day in my life. I don't know where it is. It's not in the pet section. It's randomly on the wall next to the paper towels, I now know. and they only sell it in like gargantuan quantities, I guess. But so we're walking through, and people are like talking to me like they're either talking to me like I'm Ken, or they're commenting on my shirt, or they're just laughing, like openly laughing as I walk by. And the kids at this point are just like, the attention, can you please be normal? Can you please be normal? And that's not possible. And we ended up buying a dog bed, kitty litter, a couple of other things, and then walk out, check out. And as we're walking out, the security guard goes, "Bye, Ken," really loud. Kara's just like, "Let me get out of here." And people are like, you're supposed to embarrass your kids. Like, they're like, that's like what your parents are supposed to do. Again, no effort whatsoever. I'm not trying to embarrass. I'm not actively doing things to embarrass my kid. I'm just being an embarrassing person. So, anyway, and then we got home, and I'm unpacking the bag, and I'm like, wait a minute, that bill was a lot. And I am the worst about listening to what the charge is. And then I looked at the receipt, and I'm like, fuck, they charged me for 2 dog beds, and they were like $25 each. And so I had to go back the next day, and I was just raring for a battle. I was like gonna show up, and they were gonna be like, well, can you prove it? And I'm like, how do I fucking prove that I didn't buy something? I was ready to be like, can I speak to the head of security? We're going to need to look at the tapes. 5:02 p.m. The guy wearing the Ken with the 2 Mexican kids following him, like, that's me. Zoom in, see how many dog beds you got. And so I show up, ready to go. Claire and Mason were like, please don't go all Chad on them. That's what they call a boy Karen. Don't go all Chad on them. And show up, and I'm like, hey, I think y'all accidentally charged me for, or I try not to, I'm very careful. I try not to assign responsibility to things. Like, I try very hard to say, I was overcharged, or this went wrong, or that I don't say you did this wrong, or this is your fault, like that kind of thing. I always try to keep it in like third person or about me. Like, I was overcharged. I was charged twice yesterday for this dog bed. And the lady looks at it, she goes, oh, okay. Boop, 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 boop. $27 is back on your card. Thanks for shopping at Target. And then I'm like, I was all raring to go. Anyway, Sandy agrees with me on the cart rule. I always leave a quarter in the Aldi cart, paying it forward. I don't go that far. Aldi is the only place actually where the "can I return your cart for you" thing does not work, because everyone's like, it's my fucking quarter. But what is it? I'm seeing some comments here. Kitty litter also hides the scent of dead bodies, so I've heard. Dun, dun, dun. So does lime. Well, I know who to call. Eric and Monica will be the one. Eric, we're not transporting, because I'm going to Iowa with Eric. Hopefully I return. And if I return, hopefully it's not because we've had to bury a body and then cross state lines to do it. Gotta love Claire. I know, Judy, right? And normal is overrated, children. Exactly. Don't want to be. Can you please be normal? I know. I was accidentally overcharged. That's what I say. Exactly. That sort of thing. And then what else is going on? So this is my only broadcast this week, because I'm now switching, at least for the rest of the summer, to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday broadcast. But this week I'm flying out on a 7 a.m. flight. I have to be at the airport at 6 a.m. on Wednesday. And Eric, who is watching and commenting, we're flying up to Iowa to see Eric's hometown. His dad, passed away a couple months ago, and we're going to get some of the last things and bring him back to Dallas. And I'm along for the ride and comedic relief, all that kind of stuff. But and then we get back late Friday, because we're driving straight through from Holstein, Iowa to Dallas, Texas in one go. So we'll see. The last thing I have on my card is, while we were away, I forgot to tell you, Mason and Claire got cell phones for Christmas. We're a wait till 8th grade family. I would have loved to wait even a little bit longer. And we did wait until Christmas of 8th grade, at least. And they got phones. It's been largely uneventful. They're just on them constantly. And we've had to put some guardrails about it and that sort of thing. But Mason's phone was haunted by the spirit of an old, super conservative woman named Joyce. And Joyce signed up for text from every possible conservative politician, right-wing thing. He was getting like 50 texts a day from Ted Cruz and Trump and DeSantis and these different foundations and such. And it was like the gays are taking over, the drag queens are taking over, the Mexicans are taking over, all this kind of stuff. And he thought it was fun, but the problem was it was preventing him from texting because it was just a deluge. I would get on his phone and I would unsubscribe, either type stop on the ones that I could do that to, or report them as junk. But it just did not make a dent in them. It would reduce it from 50 to 35 for a couple of days, and then go right back up to 50. And they said Joyce on them. At one point, we did get a text from someone saying thinking about you, or thinking about you, mom, or something like that. And I texted back and I was like, hey, are you Joyce's child? This phone now belongs to a 13-year-old or 14. It was 13 at the time, a 13-year-old boy. Hope you're okay, that kind of thing, right? But finally got to be too much, and we were talking about it, and I was like, Todd, what's it going to take? So I was going to call AT&T and see what they could do, but that just seemed like a lot of work. And I was like, what if we just changed phone numbers? He's only had it for like 6 months now, 7 months. He doesn't know that many people. He can tell his friends, they're not all texting each other with phone numbers anywhere. They're also using like their Apple IDs and email. It's just all kind of. So we finally decided to change the phone number. And so I guess we were still in North Carolina, but it was like the last night we were there. I got on to my AT&T app and realized that you can actually very easily change your phone number. You just request a number change. You pay $35 and they let you pick out your number. So Mason got a new number. His phone was exercised. And the texts have stopped completely. He's only getting texts from his friends now. So I know Monica's saying she has not canceled Dad's cell phone. I told the kids have asked, they're like, why would someone text their late parent? And I've told them, I was like, I don't think that Monica has canceled Dad's phone, because sometimes you just want to like it's a nice like relief. It's a nice gesture. Just like, I'm thinking about you, that kind of thing. So Joyce's family very obviously did cancel, though, because even though they were still texting the number, because it was obviously reassigned. And how weird how quickly it was reassigned also. I guess, I don't know. He had a 214 number, which is really hard to get in Dallas. So maybe that's part of the reason why it was so rapidly done. Because even Claire actually doesn't have a 214 number. And then what else on that? It got me thinking about also Social Security numbers. At what point, I assume we're already recycling Social Security numbers, that 10 digits, there's got to be recycled. At what point does that start to affect people's like credit histories and stuff like that? Because like old people, like whoever had my Social Security number before I had it, if that indeed was the case, that person, I was born in 1974. That person was probably old. There wasn't like credit and all of that kind of stuff to the same extent that there is now. It wasn't assigned to so many things. But like when I die and the person is that person potentially going to benefit from my stellar credit history, if I do say so myself? Because I know they can say they wipe it clean, but that's hard. I mean, I guess they're going to have to like change it to names and stuff. I think my sister's keeping my dad's self on for another month or two. Yeah, I think originally we kept Dad's on because if people who didn't hear about it texted. But now I think it's just still on. Leslie is saying, I've been so tempted to see Barbie instead of another damn museum or walking tour. Yeah, Leslie is in England at the moment. I think England. And so, yes. And I've seen, actually, I have friends who are in England and they, on their vacation, went to the movies to see it, partially because they just wanted to see it when it first came out. And also, supposedly it's really hot in Europe right now and they just wanted air conditioning for a few hours. How long is the drive? I looked it up and I believe it's about 12 hours from Iowa to Dallas, Holstein, Iowa to Dallas. And actually, technically, I think it's Denison, I think is the town where we're staying. But because Holstein is the size of my little pinky nail. But So we're probably going to do just a few hours, switch off a few hours, switch off a few hours. So if we each drive 2 shifts of 3 hours, I think that should get us. Also, I am a fast driver. I don't know about Eric, but I know I am a fast driver, and it's mostly interstate. So fun fact, Eric is stating, research department. This just in from the research department. Fun fact, 453.7 million different Social Security numbers have been issued. No numbers have been reassigned. That is fascinating. At some point, they're going to have to, though, right? I mean, how many combinations can you make with 10 digits? Hey, Google, how many number combinations can you make with 10 digits?
On the website Vedantu.com, they say, hence there are total 1023 combinations possible using 10 numbers. So the correct answer is 1023. Note, the formula used above.
No, I don't know what that means. Hey, Google, stop. I don't know what that means, what it's saying. Research department, like at what point are we going to do? Hold the phone. Are you saying we recycle Social Security? We're going to have to at some point. We're already recycling. Phone numbers are 9 digits, and we recycle those already. So we're going to have to at some point start recycling Social Security numbers, don't you think? Or are they just going to add a number? Are we going to hit a point where they just add a new number? I don't know the answer to that. I assumed we were already doing it. Is that 10 to the 23rd power? That's probably what it was saying, yes. What is that number, though? Is that like a gazillion? Is that a Googleplex? I don't know. 10 to the 10th power. Y'all are a bunch of fucking nerds. I kind of know what that means, but I don't know. So, alrighty. Is that 10 with 26 zeros after it? Is that what 10 to the 10th power is? I think it is. Just humor me. Alrighty, well, that's all I have got today. Let me look through the comments and make sure I did not miss anything. We went from Barbie to texting dead people to how to cover up the scent of bodies to Ryan Gosling, who was fine in it. So it's 10 with 23 zeros, Eric is saying. Interesting. So, alrighty, well, with that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you were loved. I love that you watched this. Thank you so much. And I will miss you the rest of the week. I always miss you when I'm not able to talk with y'all. This is my therapy, after all. I'm an external processor. Take care of yourself. Don't should yourself to death. No good comes from should. And I will see you next Monday at this point. July 31st is already Monday, y'all. Crazy. Oh, and Leslie is saying that they're not in England anymore. That was 5 countries ago. Oh, how wrong of me. And yeah, Judy, thank you. Thank you, Judy. Love that I'm supporting Eric. He's one of my favorite people in the world. So with that, I will see you next Monday for another episode of Cooped Up Live. Should I say, talk to you later. Bye.